Welcome everyone to the Sport Commission. Today's Thursday, May 15th, and I'll call the meeting to order. Start with a roll call of commissioners. Myself, Walter Kroll, Vice Chair is here. Commissioner Judith Kroll.
Here.
Commissioner Marissa Zorzi.
Here.
Commissioner Vincent Walsh. Here. Commissioner Aaron Nestor. Thompson. Chair Nardi. Not here. You have no one online. You. You have minutes.
Motion to accept minutes and
Okay, not you. Okay, all those in favor of accepting the minutes?
Yeah.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So proceed. Okay, our first item, the public hearings is a continued hearing for 23 Spruce Line Avenue, replacement of existing bridge steps. Welcome back.
Wasn't my last time, so I have no idea what you guys need, but we will. Alright, so what? Actually have a big, I'm sorry, Michelle.
For the record.
Michelle Koch. 23 Spruceland in Springfield.
Yes, continued for the. Visual of the town.
Yes, right, yeah. And I actually, so the person who I actually have not hired yet as a contractor, he has not, so. He went away when I came back, so I'm kind of flying solo. I didn't know I was doing this really all until last night, so bear with me because I have no idea what to expect. So I figured I'd at least print out my stairs for you guys. I've got, I can also pass around my phone.
Thanks.
Okay,
It'll be
Yeah.
up on the screen.
oh, that's, yep,
There you go.
oh, they make it even worse, but the house has been improved since then, so the, yeah, so what I misunderstood when I said, when I had spoken to the person who was gonna be my contractor originally. I didn't realize he was talking about removing the end caps on that and keeping, I'd like to keep as much brick as possible. I've also asked him to repurpose any bricks that we can. And what his suggestion was, which is a little different than what I put on the application, and that's why I'm not quite sure, was that it's going to look, this is a perspective drawing. It would be more like this. So we would take that out, but keep the brick and then put the blue stone there and with the new railings. So it would look almost like this from the sides. So this is not to scale. I'm just, as I said, I just literally was just kind
We're
of.
all about what it looks like.
Okay, yeah. So
I get the idea.
I also did this.
Yeah.
Now I
Okay.
took pictures of my street and most of them, I can show you those too if you want. Most of the people have wood. You can feel free. There's only 2 on the street, even with the wood, that have no end caps. This is one of them. I don't know, sorry for showing you my phone, but that's the best way of doing it. The others have end caps or concrete. For example, this is all the concrete. This is all concrete right here. I have my one, here's all wood. Oh, okay. And as I said, we had discussed it, but I would have preferred at least to try to keep some of the brick. It's just, it gets up there. So that's kind of where we are at. I also have, oh, here's another one. This is also all cement on my neighborhood. And then there is another one. This is, they kept the end caps, but they kept wood in between. In between, yeah.
But it's concrete, just.
But that's concrete as well. This is all wood,
That's fine.
yeah. So I'm not sure what you guys need, so I just said I was.
It's a good start. I mean,
I really, I was gonna
From 1939, but,
Yeah, I was also gonna say, I drew a bunch of pictures. Yeah, oh,
so, yeah, so sometimes it's good for us to
yeah,
look
I
back
actually
to
have one of those
what's, what it looked like
way back when,
back in 39 or 1930.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, blow that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Railings, yeah.
Oh, good, you guys have that on.
Sorry. You could have just people in the audience, the sounds are complete, just
That'd be great.
would help, because it's distracting for us up front, we're trying to listen.
So the stairs there look. I can't really tell.
They look original.
They have brick caps, but doesn't look like the stairs are brick.
That's
Oh. That's the only.
hard to tell, that's probably the only one.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I'm crazy, I also have back in design, so this.
So Chair Nardi, who's an architect, is gonna really miss that he's not
Okay.
here. Because he usually draws it when people come up and they're not sure what it's supposed to look like.
Oh,
He
yeah, no,
draws stuff like this, so he could be complimenting you.
good, because I was like, I haven't done this in 30 years, so. This is what I was thinking though too, I mean, as I said, this is what he and I had discussed with removing it, if these were kept. I do have issues with, I brought my tax returns too, if you guys needed with hardship, but I didn't apply for that, so. Just to keep, if there's another material that's cheaper, I have not discussed that, we were just. Trying to find a way to keep the brick steps, but as I said, this is. If the end caps were a necessity, I didn't know what cheaper material could be here. And then again, it's another elevation if that was kept there, because you're not gonna see the steps.
Well, you already have, brick steps and
Yeah.
some end caps, so.
Yeah, so that's why, so with these falling over, that's kind of where, that was the other thing, these are kind of bowed out.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah, so that's why it was suggested we could either keep it and do it, because I just don't have the money to replace that amount of brick, they're about 1.5 feet on both sides. Was removing it, so I just wasn't sure what you guys, yeah. I brought close-ups too, because you can start to see where it's really starting to bow out.
Do you wanna keep the end caps? It doesn't, usually they can reuse most of the bricks.
So
Take it apart.
it's honestly, what it comes down to at that point is cost. I would love to keep the end caps if I could keep it contained. And that's why he had suggested getting rid of the end caps and keeping the brick steps, but with just a bluestone tread. And I do want to keep the rails on either side, not down the middle. It's the only way I can get stuff in and out of the house.
Typically the railings on the side, like that's not original.
It's
They're not vinyl.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, typically we would look for a pipe rail, a single pipe rail.
Yeah, and that's why I think what
Right,
they're,
without spindles, so you have a single rail,
yeah,
generally they're like 3 inches in diameter, one would, maybe mount to. A post. Move down and then you go off the ground or the last step, kind of like you have it there.
yeah, I know the gentleman who has done a lot of work in the neighborhood, I've looked by, that's where I kind of got this design from, I know where he's replaced some of the rails, so that's where I put that.
So that,
Yeah,
so the question really is it steps with brick with no end caps? Or are you building the end
I
caps?
would prefer to, I would prefer just from a cost perspective to do this. But as I said, if we were willing to do some other thing in here, I just don't know what the cost would be, because he and I had not discussed that far, we had only gotten into this part. So I guess I'm kind of leaning.
I mean, most of the policies with the board is if you're replacing leg for leg,
Mhm,
it's a lot easier,
okay,
because that's what's already there.
right,
Right.
yeah. I said, because this I definitely cannot afford to replace, yeah, but that's where we're.
Questions from commissioners?
If you were to, somewhere where you dismantle all the bricks, the steps you have,
Mhm.
and rebuild them exactly the same. That would fall under appropriate.
No.
Applicability. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
You actually wouldn't have, we could sign off on it without a hearing. But because you wanna make changes,
Mhm.
even the change, if you're bluestone, you really don't have, we don't have a feel for what that looked like, so we couldn't prove that tonight anyways. We have to be able to
Okay,
see what the material is gonna be.
yeah, I know when I spoke to him as we missed stuff.
My gut,
Mhm.
my gut feeling on this is that I would try to keep the end caps. They've been there with the house in every picture that's ever been
Mhm.
there. I'm not sure what, and I have no idea what cost is.
Yeah.
And the hardship, it doesn't always fall under just whether it's a financial hardship, that's not the case usually.
Mhm.
And then if it depends on what the impact of that hardship has to any other house or things like that. There's lots of different stairs there.
Yeah.
The railing, this is, I'm kind of, I'm going over several topics here, the railing, the way, even the one that is there, I wouldn't approve the way that is. We'd rather have it be turned to be, even though back then they didn't really have railings, some black pipe, one black pipe railing.
Yeah.
More appropriate than it, probably no more expensive than that. Cheaper.
Yeah, that part, I'm not worried about the railings, that's the least.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you should be able to, we've had people reuse bricks and rebuild and repoint and I know these are flopping a little bit, and they have to be worked on.
Mhm.
I would be surprised if that would be much more money than. I'm not sure what numbers you have for redoing it that.
Mhm.
You also don't know what they're gonna find when you take the size out.
Yeah, that's what it has to be a little,
That's with any house, it's like a car, I mean, everything doesn't age specifically, everything ages together, and all of this, some of this is structural, because it's all touching, so. They may pull the sides down, and you find out that,
yeah, that's
so,
why, yeah, I
you know,
usually.
all of this
even-
stuff is brick and mortar, right?
Yeah.
And labor.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it, it doesn't ever stop curing, right? So that's part of
Yeah.
why it's doing what it's doing.
And they settle, obviously,
Oh.
and that's really fairly minor settling for the age of the house compared to some that we see.
It is, I mean, it's not loose, you know, I mean, it's not like shaking, it's just, you know, but it's definitely starting to bow. I don't want it to get to the point where it becomes a safety hazard.
Just to clarify what I'm saying,
Mhm.
you redone exactly the way they are, use the same, word, just disassembled,
Mhm.
reassembled. That's well, technically calling not applicable with a vote.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know that you're giving me enough information to vote on the steps, because we don't know what the material is gonna be or it's gonna look like.
You want right, which makes sense, you want to see the actual bluestone,
Yes.
okay, yeah,
Or something that certainly pictures that would give us a good idea.
Mhm.
I'm not against it, I just.
yeah,
without
no, I know.
seeing it, It's always a mistake.
Yeah, no, I understand, that could be not at all.
And I
what you're-
prefer that the end caps be kept and rebuilt. But there's a lot of variation in that neighborhood.
Yes,
Some of it might have come before us, and some of it clearly didn't.
yeah,
But, you know, an appropriate brick step with an appropriate railing, I think I could be good. So that's my thoughts.
All right, good, good. Commissioner Baldwin, good?
I am, thank you. All right. So I will make plans then to come back after I speak to whomever I decide to hire and have them pull some samples.
Well,
This-
yeah.
Okay,
And a little clearer what this front of this step is gonna look.
what that front step, okay,
Because you're not gonna just, do the same thing and lay bluestone on top of that, but I am interested in seeing that rendering like that.
yeah, I know, cause I know looking through, I mean, you can see it here, it's laying that way, and it looks like from the other houses I've seen that have been done recently, they're now going like vertical. Not horizontal too, which makes a difference from that, but yeah, this is literally pushed back in.
Oh, I see that picture right there, kind of, one on top, can I see one here on drawing? Yeah, just the one on top.
This one, yeah, absolutely. So that would be,
So this is doing 2 rows of brick and then whatever's.
yeah,
Right, that's part of what I was wanting.
oh, okay, yeah,
But
yeah,
the material is important, it can't be
I will let, yeah,
heavy stone or something.
I'll let him know and see what he can give.
Whatever. And I apologize if it delays, but at least it's early in the season.
Oh, yeah, no, trust me, I'm really I don't know, sometime in the fall, so we're still way ahead of it. I've got to save.
Okay, so I wouldn't go to public comment since we're, we don't have. Any final thing to show, so I would entertain it, so motion to continue, we will continue to the next meeting, is that quick enough time?
June
Is
5th.
that
I
too quick,
don't-
or do you want it?
Is it okay if I contact my contractor first, or the person who I have, I'm
Well,
hoping to?
I'm gonna make a motion to continue it to the 5th.
Okay.
All you have to do is send an email to him if you want it extended.
I want it later.
Oh, okay.
So you'll have to request.
You won't have to redo any paperwork.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to
So we
request
can do
a
that.
30-day extension.
Okay.
Use that 23 spruce and have the application.
And what day, is that also on Thursday?
Yes.
So
Can I get a second on that?
All right.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, next item. Lee Street. A year time?
Yeah, so he's requested to be continued to June 5th to allow for more time to design the plans.
Okay.
We need to make a motion to continue the Northside Bay Street construction of the duplex to the June 5th meeting.
Second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Clarendon Street. We have a. I'll settle that. Commissioners.
William Brock, I'm the senior project manager at the Office of Housing now. I live at 31 Home Street, Springfield. The application that is in front of you is an application for hardship. The original approval that we received for this project called for Pella Reserve windows. Due to the price of the Pella Reserve windows, my program cannot fund those windows. Those are a luxury item. The contractor has presented Harvey Majesty windows, which are on the commission's approved window list as a alternative instead with the same prairie style grid patterns, which was the original reason for the approval of the color windows in the initial application.
The colors bronze, is that right?
Bronze, I think we were gonna stick to the original, approval in terms of the color for it. We were more just, putting in a hardship application for a material change.
Okay, what was the color?
I wanna say it was black.
Okay.
Then we get.
Yeah, no,
I don't expect you.
But totally fine. I
Just
just wanted
without
to
being
be clear.
or to speak.
I just wanted to be clear.
The
It says,
And
dark bronze.
so I was gonna say there was,
Color change it on and.
there was an original,
I thought it was like.
So I did send in a updated materials list today, the original.
Set that one.
Yes,
Okay,
This is the one that's this standing
that's
out.
the one that was submitted today.
okay.
This was what was originally
This is-
approved.
That's right, now I'm seeing unit color bronze,
bonds,
no jam liner.
colors.
Color standard on.
Well, I'm sorry.
So the materials invoice you gave me today, bronze.
Yeah, so. Yeah, sorry.
Name, address, thank you.
There's Michael Racinos, I live at 162 Tyler Street in Springfield.
So Mike is the lead abatement contractor, he's gonna be responsible for the windows. Mike, you put it, we have bronze here, we'll be looking for black,
Yeah, so it's, that's pretty close to black, I guess that's what they call it, but we could go for a more definitive black if we'd like, but that dark brown is pretty close to black. So that's what I've
Do
got.
you have a sample of what pretty close looks like?
I don't have something on the.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, that's what I was. Pretty close on.
This is the grid to external, it looked really.
Yes, external was part of where it dictates it.
Right, yeah, for,
Yep.
like, upper. Upper side. And it's gonna be external?
Yeah.
They're external grids, yes.
Okay.
Just to give you guys a basic picture.
Yeah, I don't think that's bronze.
That's the bronze.
Yeah, that's what they call dark bronze.
Okay, so in the spec, where it's got unit one top. So exterior and contour in glass. Does that mean that the,
There'll be the same prairie grid in between the glass.
Yeah.
And as well as it's.
On the outside.
On the outside.
yeah, I just want to be clear.
Yeah,
It's
it's best that way.
what I'm reading and what you're saying, is the same thing, that's all.
I agree.
I completely agree. I looked at the first materials.
Well,
It's like,
make
I
sure we're
know
all
exactly what
okay,
they
right? Okay, it's all good, all good.
But I tried to nip that.
Okay. Any questions? This is the only piece on that, is everything else was.
Everything else has been previously approved or had a non-applicability allocation.
I have a question, you know, on mine about the middle grid. The distributor asked me if I want that to be dark bronze as well, which would only be visible from the interior side.
We only care about the outside,
Yeah.
whatever you see from the street.
Right,
Yeah,
so
right.
if it's two different colors, that might.
That's what I was finding.
Yeah, it might
So,
have hue.
They should both be the same.
So that's what I quoted for, but I just wanted to clarify.
yeah, you can't go wrong with that, and do that, then you're safe.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, commissioners are all set? Okay, I'll open up to the floor, would anyone like to speak for or against, the window proposal for 3 Clarendon Street? For or against? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on that. I entertain a motion on the application at 3 Clarendon Street.
Make a motion to accept the updated replacement windows as we have it.
Great, have a second.
I said.
Okay, any discussion from commissioners? Your Vice Chair Kroll, yes, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Walsh. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Thank you for being so prepared.
Thank you.
No problem.
Have the answer.
I would hope at this point.
And have the answer.
Yeah, nice meeting you all. Take care.
Great. This item is 34 Mulberry Street.
Yeah,
So
so,
it's been classified as really.
yeah, so they originally had an application, a reference to pressure treated wood, you'll see it in the bottom left hand corner. When I talked to the applicant further, they said that they would like to retain in-kind materials. I can give you that, next one.
So that means that we don't even have to have a hearing, we don't have to have motions, because it's.
Yeah. Been withdrawn from that.
Great. Okay, so that brings us to standard guidelines for historic districts without guidelines.
Yeah, so, since we're looking to adopt new guidelines, we have to have a public hearing on it. This has been presented to the commission in previous meetings. We discussed it at last meeting and we forwarded it to the public hearings. And I'm entirely sure of the process, the last time we adopted guidelines, I'm gonna find so. And if there's any institutional knowledge about process, some of it.
Does this have, does this have to go to the city council?
I don't believe so, because it's not an ordinance, but I can double check.
Because if there's the hearing that we have that. The motion that sends it to the council, I have to say we can approve it, but. I'm not sure if they have to.
If they have to approve it, then, I guess.
It has to be approved by us. first.
Yeah, you can make you could contingent, or not even contingent, if approval is needed by the city council.
And then we have to have a meeting where anybody can speak on.
Yeah.
So we're there. If I had.
So that is where that's coming from. What?
Yeah, that's just. That's just, wording that's not. Something we've always done.
Right.
It's now going to be prepared.
Yeah, so this is kind of like taking all of the district guidelines that we have and kind of morphing them into one.
Right, but indicating that approval has to be made.
Yeah.
So when I look at it, say it's not in there anywhere, so I can do that.
Yeah.
Satellite dish now, but we can't block it. Thank God satellite dishes are just about it. Although a lot of people still have them on their houses, they're not, they can remove them, but you're not using them.
Okay, so what do we need with this? We need a board motion, we need to open this up for.
Let it open up, public comment.
This is online, this has been offered and sent out.
It's been sent out at the regular meeting agenda. I haven't put it online, but I can if you would
No,
like.
I just want to make sure if you're gonna open it up for public comment that it's been offered.
I know it has been distributed in agendas for
Okay.
those who have been requesting it.
Okay, so open it up for public comment, if anyone wants to, public comment on the, new guidelines.
The guidelines up there.
Which districts have no guide?
There,
Are you talking about historic districts? or-
Yeah,
I include a list as a footnote in here. Yeah, down here. So we have 20-something local historic districts and only the bottom ones. Which it looks like more than there actually are. There's about 7 or 8
Yeah.
local historic
So it
districts.
says Acromon Triangle, local historic district, Colony Hill, Federal Square,
That's supposed to be forest.
Forest Park,
right, so those are all the designated locals.
Lower Maple, Maple Hill, Ninth Quadrangle, at the Tomb, and Ridgewood
Yeah, those are all the ones that have,
that have.
yeah, and so there's a bunch of single building districts that don't have.
You have an extra copy?
I can print one, yeah.
Can have
Two, does anyone else want it?
Where do we want to go to?
Great, I agree.
Excuse me, just a question, would it be possible for us to be next week? We really have to to be at some place at six.
Where-
6:40.
Which address are you?
41 Churchill.
I'm sorry, what, say one more time?
Churchill last a while.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm not sure, but I can switch it on if I want.
Okay, great.
One right there,
Thank you.
gentlemen, just,
Just wow, so you guys, you guys will be first on that.
otherwise we just don't do. As you might know, that people ask that a lot, we seldom switch because everybody sees where they are. But when somebody steps forward that quickly, it says you can't, we've done it before, people said, oh, they could go instead of me, and it just makes it easier, thank you for making it easier.
So since I don't have the information in front of me, exactly what's going on here?
He's combined local historic district. Guidelines into one document
Okay,
for all the historic districts, so these were sent out with the agenda. So people had a chance to review it, and now it's on our agenda for public hearing, for people to talk about.
Yeah, and you can look at what's in here, but there were a lot of things that were missing. So everybody knows that the roof is probably on there, and the porch is probably on there, but it actually lists out doors, steps, awnings, windows, fences, cornices, utility equipment, roofs, dormer windows, light fixtures, satellite dishes, which a lot of people aren't aware of. Building addition, siding, grill work, chimney, signs, garages, so it pretty much spells out everything that could be.
thank you.
If you're at a local historic, if you're gonna do work, what's impacted. A lot of people don't know what it is, and some things were covered and some things were inferred, or some things were policy that came up. So this is a revised document that tried to include everything.
Well, some of the districts have very clear guidelines.
Yeah.
But some of the newer ones don't.
Don't.
Right, that's what this is. It's not really not different, there's nothing, I don't think I read one thing in here that wasn't already under.
Right, but for the new ones that didn't have it, it pulls all of those in, so there's one set of rules for all the historic districts.
So these are the number of districts that we have on the screen. And we actually might have like upwards of 25 actually. And so some of these have very specific guidelines, as Walter and Vinny have been saying, but this is McKnight's. And so it's the document being presented is largely close to a mirror image of it. It might change based on some other terminology, but it's largely the same. But then when you go to some of our other districts that are called single building districts, they only have a list of exemptions as the guidelines. So it really doesn't give any guidance to an applicant proposing any development.
So, and if there's a building that was put up after the historical designation, like let's say it was a vacant lot, nothing was there before, and something new goes up there, do they still have to adhere to those guidelines, except looking something like the neighboring, what the neighborhood looks like?
Yeah, so
That's a great question.
any,
What's the issue?
do you want me to?
Good. I mean, we actually have another set, we have another set of guidelines we have worked on. They're not on this, out for public hearing yet. That more specifically describe new construction in the historic district. But what you said just summed it up for now, but they bring it, there's a lot of these guidelines that we want to see in the newer construction. Roof pitch, trim, corner boards, things, the way porches are made, doors and windows that make it fit, because we don't want them to just take any house and stick it in the middle of, because of a house burning down their house, whatever, and just put it there. It has to have some historic detail. So we're doing that already, but we're trying to get more specific about that as well. So that's coming. Okay, what do you wanna do there?
Any other questions on the public comment? Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, my sense of things is
Name and address for the
sorry.
record, sorry.
Harry Seymour, 68 Washington Road. My sense of things is that if there isn't urgency for it, then it should have more public exposure. I feel like I haven't had enough time on it myself, and I mean, granted, you're the commission and you have the say in it, but it would be nice for us to have a little bit more time with it.
Thank you. I would actually agree.
I'm fine, I mean.
And I think a narrative on what, just like you described, that we're actually taking the kind of the orphan. You know, the orphan one-offs and pulling them into the standard. So that people can kind of have an idea of what this is actually doing.
Yep, that's fine, I'll draft a narrative and, you know, I'm fine tabling it for as long as the commission wants.
Can we get copies of the other districts that have?
They're all under the city limits.
They're on the city website.
Okay, I'll look at them there. I think the Preservation Trust might have some comments, some thoughts on.
Harry, how much time do they have?
I think until the next meeting is fine, the June 5th meeting.
Because I was thought it'd have to be pushed out further than that.
Yeah, it could be, but
But we're close to
yeah,
what we wanna do, there's nothing, I'm sure when you read this, you'll see nothing
Yes,
here
yes.
unusual. But I agree with you, I think two of us already agree that
It just needs to be more.
Yeah,
everybody here is.
So they know what is
We
actually.
had hoped everybody knows what this was about, and maybe somebody else would have been here. You know, people that come in or we got commentary through the email or something, that might feel different, but I think we have to,
as far as I'm concerned, yeah,
Well, it should be.
June 5th is fine.
I push it probably further.
what's the next one after that, 19?
So July 19th is a holiday. So we're thinking June 26th, but I would like to keep that as open as possible in case stuff comes up. And I don't know if it's necessarily urgent,
Do you need a motion for this? We don't.
Motion.
or you could table it.
No, this.
On the agenda, it's under public hearings too, so we have to deal with it.
I would continue probably to, probably push it in July. In fact, the draft.
Okay, so would someone like to make a motion to continue to the July date?
July 7th, please, would be our next meeting.
We'll make a motion to continue to the July, everything too.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Thank you. Thanks for everybody's input.
Who's second?
Say if anybody wants.
So anyone wants an extra copy of that? Take it. Okay, so we're gonna take 41 Churchill Street out of order.
Yeah.
Thank you for wanting to do that. Welcome, name and address for the record.
Jennifer Montoya, 41 Churchill Street.
So, the Preservation Commission, committee, is going to separate and we got it. So,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, so, it's a simple project, we wanted to paint the house, historical colors, which already we have, and we wanna replace the rotted woods, in wood in the front and back. And so,
We're not gonna
Yeah.
change anything.
Yeah, so I'll just read the thing quick and you tell me if this is what it is. All windows be restored and matched with historic appearance, including the sashes. Sashes will be removed, repaired, sanded, reglazed and refinished. Any deteriorated elements. To include parted beams, sash boards, side stops, hard road will be repaired, refinished or replaced in kind. Windows will be fitted and adjusted to make it workable. Right, replace all rotted wood, effective clapboard, break caulk and paint. No change in design materials, masonry, foundation work, top and point, and mortar to match existing, machine repair, match bricks, and mortar. Break top to open door replacement. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it all?
Anything else?
Fabulous.
Wooden porches, that's included, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
also the port, we had Robin Hood on the porch, but we
I have a porch, I have replacing the hatch door and restoring the original windows.
Yeah, they said that the hatch door, it's part of the foundation, that's what they told me, so it's not part of the ground. Cover. How we planning it to,
So good. Where's the hatch door in relation to? Like the front,
Well, it's in the back,
okay,
yeah, back, right. Well, looking at the back of the house, it's on the left side.
okay, can it be seen from a public way?
No,
Even from the back of the house and there's a street on the back side at all, can it see it?
no, there's a house.
Okay.
So it's where that person is standing, it's like beyond them, so it's hard to see, it's, yeah.
What were you gonna do with that? You gonna Replace it with this, build a new, because they're normally made out of wood. Are you gonna construct a lot of wood?
Ours is made out of metal, it's
Oh, it's
probably.
already
metal?
It's rusted, it's.
Okay, so it's made out of metal.
It's already, yeah.
Yeah,
You can replace it with the same thing.
okay.
Well, wood, we would ask you to replace it.
Okay.
Construct it out of wood. But if it's already metal, we can replace it with it.
Any other questions from?
I'm good. It was just really. Okay, so, okay, just get for it. Really.
Oh, it's, since this is CPC, it's on the agenda for transparency purposes, so there's draft motions in here, kind of like last thing, just saying that it qualifies and ability. Here's
Make a motion to move the proposed sewer restoration project, 41 Churchill Street, for one of the application. Knowing the improvements are all in time, thus qualifying for certificate of not.
Hey, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Alright. Any opposed? Okay, great. Good luck with the project. Tell everybody the same thing, if anything changes, can't replace the windows, you can't repair what's there, you're gonna make some kind of change. You know, if you do what you have here, it's not good.
Thank you.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
That was for John. Okay, back on track to 81 Mulberry Street. Got another CPC historic restoration project.
Michael Noonan. So, the front porch has a flat roof. There are built-in gutters on two sides and the front. And the whole thing is coated with fiberglass, which is failing. The water is seeping into the porch. So what I wanna do, is flat roof membrane over that. And line the gutters with copper. There's two bay windows in the front. They're also covered in fiberglass, and there's no drip edge. So I'd like to cover them, the roofs of the bay windows with copper as well. There's rotted front steps and treads. There's a side porch that's visible that has. All the steps are rotted and the posts need to be replaced as well.
Yeah, repair water damage front porch and flashing over the bay windows, remove damaged crown moldings around the front of the porch and replace with replicated crown. Rebuild gutter trough around the front and side of the upper porch. Repair upper railing to match existing, repair water damaged columns and front posters. Replace any damaged molding, replace flashing. Over the two bay front windows, remove sidings needed to flash correctly, install new cedar clapboards. Replace front stairs, repair fur decking. Assuming that's front decking or porch decking. Yeah, seal all materials, paint to match. with all like materials, you know.
This house was slated for demolition, and it's been rebuilt, and everything must have fallen off.
It looks
From the
beautiful.
ground up.
Great job. Hey, any questions from the commissioners on this? Okay. For the CPC, we don't.
They're not considering hearings.
Okay, with that, if no one has any additional questions, but we can motion.
Make a motion to approve the proposed exterior restoration project as presented in the application and turn into business.
Great.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, project, thanks for letting them go on order and tell everybody something's gonna change or you can't get material with your contractors, you just gonna go back. All right, thank you guys.
I like the way the house looks.
Yeah.
I'd say without the dimension. Pretty good.
Okay, next item on the agenda is 258 Sumner Ave. Welcome, name and address for the record.
My name is Sharon Rosansky. I am obviously not Bill Coffra. But here's my letter of authorization for me to talk for him. I don't know. Okay, his home address.
Your home
My
address,
address,
your
all
home
right. 18 Woodcock Court, Phoebe Hills.
Great, that's all we need for the record.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's just formality,
Okay,
our procedure.
all right. Don't make any questions too hard, please.
No. This again, this is a CPD
Yes, yes.
application,
Yeah.
front porch repair, railings and decking, replace several rotted clapboard sections and existing siding,
Mhm.
level the roof line on the first floor porch. Now, right, so are these 2 pages all of the scope of work? Repair clapboard on the edges, trim and repair, repaint or
Yes,
from top
yes.
of the chimney.
Yep.
Fix and replace trim around as needed, front porch, replace porch ceiling light, repair side railing, existing railing, converting porch. Rear of the house and paint, replace water damaged wood ceiling for porch and paint. Repair front steps and paint, level roof line repair, wood shot and paint. Replace base lattice, paint porch trim and pillars, repair rough edges, clapboard on east side of the house, 3rd floor to over. Repair motion light, repair back room. Steps, hang door on outside frame of paint. Replace window pane on the 3rd floor, strip and paint in the areas of the exterior clapboard side. Chimney house brickwork, repoint over. Repair broken cement crown ring atop the chimney, paint brickwork and chimney. Repoint mortar, brick and foundation around the house, repair cracks in the chimney. House has been leaking water. Replace chimney liner was identified as the second contractor. That's it. Thank you.
That's it.
This is all like time, there won't be any structural changes, there won't be
Correct.
any building changes, baluster changes, or. We're just replacing like for like, same materials.
Taking from the back, bringing to the front.
Yeah.
Does all work done materials required cities people don't go this way, when you go to the guidelines, it's going to go too much of everything. This doesn't say too much about it, materials. Scope. It doesn't say, it's a great past. It doesn't say.
No, it's kind of assumed, but it doesn't specifically say that like if a wood clapboard is rotted, that the wood clapboard will be replaced with a wood clapboard.
No, none of them really say, I mean, it's gonna be the same material. So. Except that over this. Right here, I'm just reading what the scope of specification, that PVPC says it has to be. Do you have any information on that? Do you know anything about materials?
All I know is that he said it's gonna look exactly the same. So I have to assume.
I kind of teased you, because we're very specific, you said you've been briefed on it.
Yeah, I've been briefed, I'm the girlfriend, you know?
Hey,
We almost broke up over
everybody that
this.
comes
Yeah.
early and has to listen, gets some education. Okay?
I am learning a great many things here.
Relax, you're not. So all,
Let me,
we are kinder than some people.
I appreciate it, thank you.
All I can tell you is based on what's here, if we agree to this, the assumption is especially on the PVCP piece, under scope and specifications, that it's like for like on the materials. And if it's not, then everything that's listed here can't be done, you're gonna have to come back before any work can be done and say, we're not doing this type on the clapboard, we're not doing this type with the cornice, we're not doing this type with the flooring, we're doing a different, we want a different material. So if it's going to be like for like on materials, and we're just replacing same material like in kind. That's what we need to know, because once we kind of do that,
Right.
that's what we're agreeing to with the project. Unless somebody wants to. Okay.
You can stress that a little bit more if you want.
Like the PVC,
So, any other? Good?
yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
Don't break up over it.
Okay, all right, there were words,
No
said.
harm,
Let's just
no harm,
put it
no
to
foul.
that
No harm, no
way.
foul.
Tell them we were real mean and everything.
I'll cry when I'm calling back. Good thought.
Tell
This is
them
gonna cost
after
him a
that.
lot of
you
money.
won't- Okay, so I would enter, there's no other discussion, I would entertain,
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the proposed exterior restoration project. That's something like this.
258 Southern Avenue.
Noting that all improvements are in kind, and noting that the scope and specifications are all work must be done, material use comply with City of Springfield Building Code, Mass Electric and Plumbing Code, District Guidelines, and Springfield Building from the due process, Secretary of Interior Standards, thus qualifying for a certificate of applicability.
Thank you. They're reading out the scope of specs.
Tony.
I have one question, this is my important stuff, I'm sorry. Cut me in the head.
Any other discussion on the motion from Commissioner? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So that's it.
Now it's my turn. He wanted, Bill would like to know what paint color for brickwork of the foundation in chimney houses. What can he choose?
You can answer that in.
So we're in forest complaints. I think that's going to be a separate application, because it wasn't noted here, because in the guidelines.
Just an FYI while he's looking for that,
Yeah.
if it's not in this application, we can't add it, which attracts, we can't.
You can't,
It
okay,
has, we have to come back. for the
even
color.
though the color, it's just the color, it's not.
Well, it may not be, here it is, he's got it right here. It's,
Chimney, any change in shape, location, design. But it's not color.
It just says shade. It doesn't say-
Color,
Color of paint is not controlled, so.
Right.
I guess in this district, there, you know, in other districts, if you're painting, masonry, it's usually controlled. You know, it doesn't look like
it
it's.
appears to not be.
under some Forest Park Heights, there's no control, there's no color either.
Or
I know there's not one in McDonough, so.
Is it already painted?
Sorry.
Just wanted to know, like,
Yeah.
He wants to know if they're-
What's the normal picture we have? Any color, can we color? Up there? Because like
258 Sumner Avenue.
These are photos. I can.
Oh, there you go. That looks brick. Can't see the side, but, oh, there you go. Dirty brick.
zoom in on that a little bit. Yeah, that's, I guess, standard.
Mhm.
Reddish, dark, whatever,
No
brick color.
other. Yeah, see, in the night, if you're painting masonry work, you need to come in front of the commission.
Oh, brick brown stone, okay, you are gonna have to do that.
Well, that's it,
Oh, that's-
night,
that's
yeah,
right.
forest
Forest
park.
Park, okay.
Check Forest Park.
Yeah.
Just double.
He just, yeah, he said.
But you want to, you know, you know, control you want it to be the appropriate color to enhance the house looks like.
And he didn't ask the girlfriend, she would have said, whatever color it is, it is.
And it's not in Forest Park, so it falls to a non-applicability.
Yeah, that goes.
Okay.
So
So,
There's no lines or anything.
okay, I'll do my best to not let him do lime green.
Here's something against Mopars. Okay, thank you.
And one more, I'm sorry, is there a timeline for when all of this stuff should be done by, or whenever the contractors?
Not for us.
Because you know.
Whatever the CPC award was,
Okay.
they'll have the stuff. And I can tell everybody, what we approved is what was here.
Right, okay,
So all the same materials.
Yep.
You know, rebuilt as proposed.
mhm,
If something changes, they can't do that.
Right, we have
They
to
wanna
come back.
replace it with some other material, you gotta come back and say,
okay,
now we wanna do this instead.
all right, great.
Thanks.
Well, thank you
Good
for
luck.
my big trip into the city
You did a
today,
great job.
thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, have a great day.
You too.
One oh two Magnolia Terrace.
Hello.
Come on down. Welcome, name and address for the record, please.
Deborah Novak, 102 Florida.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Back from this application. Okay, I have to go print out some picture class, but you got these.
Okay. Okay, perfect paint, like the paint of the house.
Yeah,
garage.
so that's all changed. I
Okay.
had to paint it last year,
Okay,
so I don't need to paint anymore.
okay. Which parts of you don't need to paint it,
Yeah,
right? So
right.
anything?
The whole house, you garage, just the garage.
Everything, yeah, I had to paint for insurance purposes. They were not gonna insure me or give me a hard time because it was so bad.
Okay.
So. The good thing is, the good news is though, I need a lot more repairs, so,
Okay, so.
but my original,
What's on here is, we'll remove the painting. Restore defective areas of the columns, rails, lattice with light materials, no change in design.
yeah, that,
Same material.
yep, I'll be doing the porch flooring and. I think it's just mostly the porch flooring that's rotted.
And the windows will be original.
Usually work will be.
What's that? Yes. Yes, they're still original, and I've refinished many of them, but I have about half of them left to do. And I love them, like when they're refinished,
Yeah.
they're gorgeous,
Yeah.
and they work great.
Yeah. Okay, so repair, replace, so the Douglas fir common group porch,
Yeah,
flooring, repair, replace any defective siding,
yeah,
is it clapboard or shape?
it's both,
Okay, so, but it would be, anything that needs to be replaced would be with wood.
correct, yes, cedar, yeah.
Cedar, great. Like materials on the house and the garage, we've already painted, but whatever you replace, you would run the masonry,
Yes, I need,
foundation repairs, tuck and point.
Yep.
hard to match.
You gotta go.
Yeah, there's the
This
windows,
one's-
the
at least
porch
this
and the
one's
masonry.
specifically- This one's said. Like, yes, yeah. It does. That's good, it's better than that. You know.
Yep, everything not changing it, okay, but refinishing, restoring.
Any questions from? Okay,
I used to admire.
understand it, well, it's
Little picture of that one. Yeah, that's from 1922.
We okay to do the motion without? Surrender?
Oh,
We sure are.
Okay.
We are?
We sure are.
Okay.
We should not, we.
So I entertain a motion on 102 Magnolia Terrace. We need someone that's moved to accept.
Motion to approve the proposed exterior restoration project as promoted in the application and during today's meeting, noting the following time frame. Thus qualifying for a certificate of non-applicability.
And second. Thanks, any other discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Yeah.
Great. Sorry.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Do I get or anything?
Andrew will send you.
Okay, so you do get a decision.
You'll get a letter,
Yeah.
I'm assuming we'll send it to
Something,
you,
right.
we'll probably send it.
Okay.
You already heard from everybody else, if something changes, gotta use different material,
Right,
you gotta do something different, it wasn't on that page, you like that.
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
As soon as we did it.
Yes, I had to come before the commission, we rebuilt it. It was not, it wasn't, that's not original, the 1922 is not
It was
original.
not original.
No, yes,
Covered it up.
they covered it in different material and it came
Wow.
before the commission about 20-30 years ago, and we just kind of had to fashion it towards what was common in the neighborhood. Because City Hall burnt down, and there's no record.
Really?
Yeah, I know the history of my,
Squiggles going, those going with original before they weren't.
they were right, the whole house was, the porch was
Well, you
enclosed.
guys did a great job.
And there was
Yeah.
never, yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
it came out really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, I'm
very
really
much.
into it, I love it,
Great job.
thank you.
Okay, so that concludes the CPC historic grant list, and we can move to other matters. The first one being the proposed Bernie Taylor Lane Block Local Historic District update.
So this morning, we got this from Shannon over at PVPC. And basically, there's kind of two proposals. One is that an expanded district that went around Quadrangle and Lagoon, that we previously discussed. And then the other one is potentially combining it with Quadrangle and Lagoon. And so Shannon had let me know that there's a lot of brick-like buildings within this area, this new area. So combining it with Quadrangle and Lagoon might not actually, be like opposing ideas. But I know this report just hit your desk. And, so
What was your position?
I even
Well, I mean, my gut was that they shouldn't be.
yeah, I think
Because of the differences.
Yeah.
Because of what goes on in the quadrant.
yeah.
I mean, the quadrant, you go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think that was, something Shannon had mentioned that, the inclination is to keep them separate. But if, it could potentially be worth exploring on whether they could be combined, because you're gonna have two historic districts that are essentially like a jigsaw puzzle that just fit next to each other. So, it doesn't necessarily need to happen that way, but, just something to consider. So, she went through and provided an inventory of all the buildings, and provided kind of a draft district, central district, which would merge the the Thurston Munson house, buyers, and then, the Verde Way Keller block is in there, and then you have Acromat Triangle down here with the Lewis. Overland.
So is,
Yeah.
is the benefit that you're just moving everything together instead of having 7 or 8?
Yeah, so I'll show you what the
I
current,
mean, the first thing we were doing was gonna basically take that whole street, which seemed to make sense, but now it's like this whole giant swamp and some of that.
yeah, so when we.
Doesn't seem to be congruent.
When we last talked about this, and so this is this area, you have a National Historic District in this area right
Yep.
here. There's Thurston Munson right here. You have Federal Square that,
Wraps around.
yeah,
Yep.
wraps around, and then over here you have Acrobat Triangle and Lewis Overland. And, there's some conflicting data on Macris on whether this area is in a local historic district or not. So, this entire area is almost already in a historic district. And rather than having 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 6th one around here, kind of making it a little bit more consistent and congruent. And this is, meant to be a further discussion, doesn't have to necessarily be decided tonight.
And the ones that are questionable there, which would be the old high school, what's there? Red Stat right there,
Isn't that commerce?
Tech. What is it, what kind of? What is it?
I would say commerce, but maybe,
Commerce is up on.
oh yeah, that's the other one, yeah.
It was the old Tech High School, they didn't do it, they didn't make it.
It's still housing now, it's condos or apartments.
Why is there a question about that? I don't know that it was in the district.
Which part?
Unless I misunderstood you, what you were saying, there's some question about
Oh,
whether it's in the
when
district.
we were
or not.
looking at Macris, there was a question as to whether it was in a local historic district, and our GIS information shows that it's not in.
Oh, okay, I didn't think it was. Doesn't mean
And
it shouldn't be.
yeah, it was just conflicting data, so we would want to get to the bottom of that one as well. But this is, what is this? Springfield data.
Yes. Which,
Well, we're gonna treat you.
the church is next door. Can you get a street?
Yeah, if you can go to street view, that would be great. Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go. It's just hidden.
Yeah, that's.
That's, yeah.
This one's schools.
Rest was Tech was a wrestling powerhouse.
That's because, yeah, suburban, was suburban.
Basically, you think.
It's really nice football.
I mean, they obviously were trying to maintain some of the.
Yeah.
Historic detail of the
Yep.
building, repurposed it. So what's the general question from us, and obviously nothing happened yesterday.
The general question is, what do you want to do with the Verde Taylor Lane block? Do you want to keep it 3 buildings? Do we want to explore expanding it? And having a bigger district? And what is that bigger district entail?
Well, I think in general, just on behalf of the board, I don't think they should be combined as one, but I do think that this could be combined. Because so much is already historic,
Yeah,
but there might be people that object.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's gotta go to public.
yeah, I mean, you're already a long
We're a
way.
long ways away.
Yeah,
But I would prefer, if I were to vote today, if it hasn't been voted on, it'd be separating these two, so. The quadrangle remains a separate entity from the rest of the other back streets.
Yep.
But this is awesome. We can get study this for a while.
Yeah.
I needed some of those. Good job. Good job. That's what you does.
No cover charges, Jack. No cover charge.
Thank you. Okay. Appreciate her.
Yeah,
That,
there's a lot of work in here, so that's. Thanks for putting that together. Thank you. Next item.
Recreation Committee nomination.
The CPC nomination of partner.
We have to do a letter like this.
Yeah, there's probably a draft one, so we just need the motion, I guess.
Well, I asked anybody if they wanted to do it. So. What am I supposed to say?
They would be, they would.
Okay, well, we have to make a motion and vote on this.
I believe there is.
So there's only four of us, so from the form of four, so if one of the people here is one of those people, they can't vote themselves, can they?
No, I mean, I guess you could.
I'm just asking the question.
I think I'm pretty sure you could.
Okay,
You can.
we have Attorney Shea on, we could ask our legal counsel. Attorney Shea, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. What's the question?
We have to do a nomination for our CPC representative for the board. And the question is, since we have a quorum of four and would most likely be one of the people that's voting, can that person vote themselves in that, or do they have to recuse themselves in the vote?
Well, as long as you've got a quorum to vote, the individual certainly can vote for themselves if they want to. That's
Okay,
not a problem.
very good, thanks.
Okay.
So we could always nominate Alan, just tell him when he comes back and he's the rep, since he wasn't here. That would be unethical, so we probably shouldn't do that.
I would nominate Dr. Poole to be the position.
I would second that, sir. So I need a motion on that? I guess I could make a motion that Dr. Judy Kroll be your CPC rep.
Okay.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Congratulations, thanks for stepping up again.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. So I will get out later.
Yeah. That's all we got. Can we find someone else, Judy, just to?
Yeah, they would not be abused.
Administrative updates?
Yes, I have a few things here. Thomas Bretta, 289 Tinkham Road. He's gonna be submitting a demo delay and asked if the commission would be willing to go out there before submitting the demo delay.
Oh, sure. What's the address?
289 Tinkham Road, down at 16 acres.
Yeah, anyway, home day.
Almost.
Proposing a 44 lot subdivision.
He's finally gonna try to build that place.
Yep. So there's a building there.
There's nothing historic. We have been trying to get that built for. But let's see what he wants to do, what he wants to figure out.
So I'm gonna try to get him on the June 5th agenda, so if the board and the commission can make sure it's going out that direction before then, it'd be great.
Was that on my pocket and all for that?
What's done, what else we got?
June 12th, I realize I'm gonna be, I don't tell them I'm gonna be at a conference, so I can't meet that for, we can't meet that date for the ordinance for public.
Oh, the one off. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's potential to make it the 29th or another day of the week.
Like June 29th or
May,
May, right now?
yeah,
Okay. Kind of feel like we need the missing
yeah,
commissioners to weigh in on that.
yeah, so maybe I'll send out,
Even if all four of us can make it,
Send out
the other two,
okay, I'll send out an email.
you need kind of all hands on deck on that.
Yeah. right now I'm looking at the 29th available. And then I'll just throw out 2 other days of the week work, or is it only Thursdays? Okay, I'll throw out a few, yeah, I'll throw out a few dates.
Okay.
I appreciate it. If you are unaware, 37 George Street had a fire last night. Yeah, the, what looks like it, the first floor looks like it's only salvageable. The second and third floors look pretty damaged.
Wow.
We'll see what happens, but just want to make you guys aware of that. National Registrar nomination is, there was some correspondence. The one that we looked at last meeting was officially not, I think, approved, so else was approved, so I have the letter over there somewhere. Other letters. Yeah, right on top of it. Yes. Okay. Next. Yeah, so, and then 3 non.
I think it's all right.
They changed it. Yeah. And then 3 non-applicabilities, 83 Cherryville Ave, had replacement windows in kind. 135 Thompson Street was a foundation repair. Some bricks were damaged on the foundation, so they're taking the inside bricks, bringing them to the outside, but it's gonna look the same material. And then 147 Pineywood Ave with a driveway refurbishing required. That's it.
Follow-up question, I know we talked last time about Eversource permits and that we were fully engaged with the gas people and
Yeah.
you said that you would update it with building code. Now the building department will recognize any meters in a historic district as something that has to be signed off on.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be forwarding to me, so,
And is that confirmed? I think you were gonna.
I did speak to the building commissioner and I did speak to the inspector himself. That, so he did acknowledge that he would forward any electrical meter projects to me, so.
Do they need reinforcements since this is a new policy of how it's gonna be
I will probably,
administered or?
yeah, I'll probably check back in, end of the month, just to see if there's anything else. I'm also working on getting a better contact with Eversource. I know
Not
Amy
to
can.
be in the weeds, because I know it's not our purview, but
Mhm.
it would be nice to know how they're gonna administer that, so when there's an error. Someone says, well, how did this happen?
Yeah.
We at least know what the process is.
Yeah.
Especially since it's a new process. I like it. I'm really glad that that's part of this, because forever. We've just been told that Eversource said this is where it's going.
Mhm.
About cookies.
And every source has put something on the table. Want to know, and I know that I have no problem hearing one of those options, which is if they meet X, Y, Z, that will approve it. And if they, when they know they're gonna meet, they can do it. But I don't wanna just cut them loose without seeing something right.
No, not at all. When I
Every single one of them.
Yeah. Well, we never had a choice before, so hearing that there is a review is good news as long as there's a review.
Yeah, I'll check in with the inspector, just ask if anything's hit his desk lately, so just as a soft reminder.
And is it Rick from
I haven't,
Eversource Gas was gonna get like the list view or let you know how they were gonna handle.
Yeah.
Being member, because they have the project at midnight, there's like 30 or 32 they were gonna do and. Think, when I met with him, we were gonna try and group them into things that. You're not gonna see from the street or some might be on the side and how would you like these presented? Can I give you a list? Do we have to come and do every single one? How do you wanna handle this?
I haven't heard back from Rick, but maybe I'll reach out tomorrow.
Every single one.
With Rick and I'll reach out to Rick and Amy.
Okay, he was very open to it,
Yeah,
but not hearing anything, I mean.
Yeah.
Business has to move forward, so I'm just afraid that
Yeah.
maybe business is killed.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And that's all I have for.
We need a forum call for June 5th, be in attendance.
I can't prove that.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. Home from Washington. So it should be.
Either Ridley.
Okay. So,
Oh, yeah, I might, if I can.
I mean, if I can't get, if I'm coming back from Washington.
Get that phone call. Right, okay.
yeah,
I'll plan on being, I already hear that a couple of people might not make it, so I'll plan on just not calling in.
because that's gonna be the last one before our schedule gets wonky, yeah, so.
Yeah.
I'll be available.
I'll reach out to Al and Vanna tomorrow and see what they're.
That's a. Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. That's right, I'll actually be virtual. But,
Oh, you'll be virtual.
yeah, I need to be virtual, but again, that's what nothing else. The last thing will be public speak out, someone has anything they want to talk about for 2 minutes, be free to speak out on anything.
I'd like to take on.
Okay. Go ahead, name and address for the record. Come on up, grab your seat, or you can stand where you are, name and address for the record.
Stephen Hungry, I know for Wellington Street. Just as. Sorry.
Yes, it's somebody, I don't have to be sorry, do whatever you need to do.
How hard is that?
So I'm just here for guidance.
Okay.
Okay, first thing I will do is, I've lived in my home for 19 years, I'm over here on Golden Lodge Street.
Okay.
23. And it's. When we go around. So, I live in the area, I don't have an historic home, but I live in the area. So I have a ranch home which has, a private walkway, grass, and there's a driveway. So when I'm out of my house, I go out and come in. We do not have a sidewalk on our side of the street at all. And so right now, I'm actually concerned because I feel I'm being harassed by the neighbors across the street from me. Because they called the cops on us twice to tell us things about vehicles from walking in front of our own home. And that's a public street. As you can see, that's how I get into my home.
Yep.
So what they've done is they've had a lot of domestic stuff going on across the street. I don't feel really safe, and they've come across to my home and hostilely pretty much demanded that I move my car up where you see that vehicle is.
Yep.
And we choose the part where the pole is.
Right.
Right? And so she said it's blocking the driveway. She called the police on us parking in front of my own house. And the problem is she wants us not to be there so she can get out, which she needs to learn how to drive, right? So what's happening is now she's getting her friends who don't live in the neighborhood, and they're parking directly across my private walkway, not allowing me to go in and out of my own home. I just spent $1,000 to get my grass done because I'm trying to upkeep my place. That's not the current one, right?
Right, that's.
But now I have signs on my lawn. I have to walk across my own. I'm a school teacher. I carry a book bag, roll laptop, tote bag, everything. And now I can't walk up my own walkway. So I know there's no ordinance that says that they can park there. I really don't care if they park in front of my house. What they're doing is because I won't move, they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. And so if I can't get an ordinance, this is day and night, they can do
So
it for 2 months.
just the level set, we'll all try and help you, but this has nothing to do with the historic commission. So there's really nothing we can do as historic commissioners, or the historic commission itself fix this, because
Right.
it's not under our purview.
Where,
So, but Andrew, So there's two things. One is the quality of life officer from the police department. There is a local person that can help you with that, but from an ordinance perspective, who here can help her with like parking on the street? Because street parking is public, and no one can tell you or make you park somewhere else, right? Because, right, so that, I don't know how that falls with a walkway that comes right to the
They
street.
don't have an ordinance, if I have a sidewalk.
I know what you're
it wouldn't
saying.
be an issue.
There's no, right, but there's no sidewalk, so I don't know what the answer is,
Time to park, and I don't care.
right? But I don't know what the city law is, because typically the first 8 feet, the city owns anyway. So I don't know what right you have on the walkway. There might not be, you might not have a right. I don't know that, but that's really a city question, probably.
Attorney Shea might have.
Attorney Shea,
Yes,
listening to this?
I have been,
Okay, so we have a resident, it's not obviously a historic commission question, but she has kind of a quality of life issue and a issue with, you know, her right with the neighbors telling her she can't park in front of her own house on the street, and she needs to know from her walkway goes right from her steps to the street.
correct.
So
Okay,
does she have the right, does she
so
have the right to that her own sidewalk as it comes to the street?
she does. Now, has she been to code enforcement? Has she been to the code enforcement department in City Hall?
I was told there's not an ordinance, only for private driveways, but not for private walkways. And my only choices would be to either have somebody install me a sidewalk or put a sign there that says, please, like, do not block the private walkway. There is no ordinance, so I can't get a sign. And after 19 years of living in my house, I gotta go and get a sidewalk installed. These people just moved in 6 months ago, and this is what I'm gonna have to deal with. This has been 2 months.
Right.
And I'm tired. I don't know who to go to.
Okay,
Right, so that's why we have, Attorney Shea works for the city, that's why we're asking Attorney Shea.
right. So let me ask, can I ask this question? I'm gonna start from the very beginning. Do you know in the ward you're in, I'm gonna start with, do you know who your city councilor is?
Yeah.
Val Brown?
Okay, so what I'm gonna suggest to start getting some help for her is, number one, contact that city councilor. And if we have to create an ordinance for her to resolve this conflict, we can get together in the law department, and working with the code people, we can probably look at this situation, but it's clearly not something for the historic district. Does that help?
That now,
One of the frustrations about this whole situation is they don't want her parking in front of her home,
Exactly.
but they will leave where they live across the street to come and purposely block her walkway. And even they don't block her walkway,
But this is today.
they would
Right.
park
She's
so
not
close.
in her driveway.
But the police won't do anything?
I called the police because
They-
they can park anywhere on the street. And you know what? I don't really care. They can park, anybody can park in my house, but
I understand.
this little piece right here, and I just get up my own walkway. You're making me walk across my own grass. It's
I'm just saying
ridiculous.
because they're being harassed.
Especially in the snow, I mean,
You know what
like
I'm
if there's
saying?
snow
Like
in
if
the
they're being
grass.
harassed, the police still can't do anything because this is harassment like you have. And they said they can't do anything.
If there was an ordinance, they could enforce it. They could. say
So then that's
something.
why Attorney Shea said he's gonna get
Yeah.
together. The council and try to meet. Only other thing,
You know, could I suggest that she set up an appointment with us in the law department, and I'll get together with someone and see if we can get to the bottom of this?
How do you wanna connect with her, Attorney Shea? Do you want her to provide her your number or email, or how do you wanna connect?
Yeah, if she could give me her phone number and address, if I could get that,
23 Goldenrod Street.
hold on,
Goldenrod Street,
23 Golden.
is that your name right there, ma'am?
Yes, that's me.
Right on the screen, Ken.
All right, okay, and then what's her phone number?
413
Yeah,
3092.
20.
Say it one more time, the last one.
413-330-5592.
All right, 413-330-5592.
Yes,
Okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Is
okay,
that all right?
yes, it is.
Okay, and I'll get this steered over to someone that can help her. If we need an ordinance, we'll see what we can do, but there has to be a curb line somewhere with the street where the street ends, and there would, quote, in theory, be a curb where there's a line. And so we can establish all of this stuff, so, yeah,
So my whole side of the street, there is no.
Right. Yeah, you can see, there's just, it's
The
got
Yeah,
a.
next disability, no parking, the
Yep.
lady down further has a no parking because of other issues.
okay.
Now,
All right, I'll talk to you. I'll give you a call, it's tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Friday, I'll give you a call, okay? And we'll set something up. Is that gonna help?
City attorney, Ken Shea.
One thing, Attorney Shea, she's a teacher, so calling her during class hours maybe.
at this point, you can call me whenever you like.
Well, if you're teaching, you know what, ma'am, I'm gonna give you my phone number. I'll give you my phone number and you can call me. You wanna do that?
You want his number so that you can
Sure.
call him when it's convenient for you?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Attorney Shea, she's got a pen.
Okay, yep, so call 413
Okay,
530
okay.
6773.
Okay, I have it.
Okay, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
In here, just trying to figure out
Hey.
where to go.
Fine,
Oh,
great,
I'm
I'm glad
so sorry.
that we can do something for you. Or Attorney Shea can do
Thank
something
you.
for you, at least
Thank you for your time.
get you some connection.
Okay, now, one thing that I just, one thing I wanted to find out, right? Is there's a liquor store that will be opening up on St. James, I think it's 575 St. James.
572, yeah.
Now, is this a part of the historic district, 575 St. James? Nothing is being, it's not like the building is being changed or anything, they're working on the interior.
You said
But-
575.
572, 572.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, it was 575.
572. I
It's
typed
next
that
to the
email
back, yeah,
and I'll
that's
get you.
it.
Oh, okay.
Now, previously, they came. Previously, they went to, I forgot which commission to open a liquor store.
Licensing.
They were told, no, you have to go to McKnight Neighborhood Council. We did not approve it. So the licensing commission said no. A year later, they went back to ask for the same place to be turned into a liquor store. And there were several reasons why it would, the body that had wanted no part of it because it would compromise his business. So they came back a year later, but because the liquor commission did not inform the McKnight community of what was going on, no one was here to oppose or give the history as to what happened. So they just went ahead and approved it. And as far as the city council is concerned, they didn't even go to the city council on this. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to deal with this right now, because,
Yeah.
especially if
That
it,
must be like a zoning thing, would that be like zoning, like always,
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the horse down in the barn. I don't know,
but it's not in this.
it's not in a historic
Yeah.
district.
well, because if even it's, let's say, that's the historic district, people are coming through there. So now if they're coming through, that automatically places a negative stigma on the community.
The bad, hard news
Yeah.
position
You
you're
have
in,
no-
and the woman that's here is, we can only deal with
Historic,
historic and when it's in writing on a piece of paper in front of us.
okay.
I mean, I think it's wise of us sometimes to hear stories and try and point somebody in the right direction.
And that's
It would
what
be
we-
foolish if we did, but it sounds like you're already way past, what did you just say? The horses, oh, you said, the horses out of the barn in this one. You can go right to the mayor's office and complain, whatever, there's nothing ever at this table in a public meeting that we could do to help. Nothing.
Okay, so in other words, like I said, so I can't go again and try to find a cowboy who can go and track the last of his horse, right?
Well, you can, I'm saying that as a commission, it's not a thing
That you could do.
under any circumstances that we can help.
The powers come from the historic commission bylaws and authority.
Okay.
If it doesn't fall within anything historic, we don't have any power.
Not in a district,
Or
or
under-
doesn't have a historic designation, you can't even.
Okay, just like my colleague over there, him seeking advice, and you say, go
Yes.
to the minister's office.
Well, yeah, I mean. My mother, she said,
She's the highest authority in Springfield.
all the time.
And the licensing commission, the people there are appointed by there.
You know,
Okay, so what, would it be a good, I'm not just seeking advice, would it be a good idea to reach out to the historic commission to let them know, the license commission, to let them know exactly what is status on this and see if they could open up some kind of hearing, at least to hear from the community to revisit their decision.
I would try any avenue you can think of.
I'm not sure that, cause the licensing commission, when I used to work there, like, once you get your license, you just add
You're in.
you're in. You know, it
No,
was-
they have the license.
right, you said they have it,
Yeah, they have the
Yeah.
license, it's just a matter of
yeah.
that stuff, because Springfield has the highest amount of, Liquor.
Thank you, Harry. Good night, Harry.
and, you know, to continue doing this, especially like so close to the homeless,
I know,
friends of the homeless who just broke ground to expand their facilities.
that's right.
Then since Springfield is being used as a dumping ground for, excuse the expression, that's what's been used in other meetings. For folks who have alcoholic problems, you know, they come by busloads, drop them off there, whatever happens after that. But they're in our community, and then more liquor stores opening up. What does that do to the value of the homes, whereby we're paying additional taxes every night?
Oh, that's fine, when they have these zoning meetings and these public hearings, you need to get people together. We did it, they was gonna put another liquor store on Sunday Avenue, I'm going on, but
Yeah,
I did it, you know, with some people, like, we're like very five good stores, you know, like, in a half-mile radius, we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, so just to cut to the chase. We did all that, we went to the planning meeting, that was unanimous to vote it down. We went to the licensing meeting. McKnight didn't see it, it wasn't posted, we didn't get the posting on it. So the night of the meeting was last May. Steven actually went to go to the meeting at 36 Court Street, except the licensing commission only meets on Zoom. So when he went there wasn't anything there. We just figured, okay, there's no meeting, we never saw it come up again, so we just assumed they took their ball and went home. A couple months ago, I saw Welcome Taste Liquors coming soon. When we investigated it, we found that the licensing commission did in fact have a meeting that night, only on Zoom, and approved it. So we were left with. Now what? So it's a year later, people are finding out about it and going, I don't agree with this, what can be done? So that's where all this is coming from, so I appreciate you coming forward and asking questions, but that's kind of where that's at.
yeah, because, you know, if so this is the historic commission,
But that's not a historic district.
yeah.
Or is it like,
Right, this is the historic commission, and we are in the historic district. When people are coming here, like right now, there's one home that's up for sale, where on my block. And someone just recently passed, so that means to say, from what I understand, that family will be moving out. So now people will be looking at these homes, right? So now when they come and they see all these liquor stores all over the place, you know, people who would like to live in a historic district will be discouraged because first thing they see is the potential for crime because of all these liquor stores, right? So then you're looking at let's say, for the lack of a better, you know, expression, a lower income
population who will be coming in, who may not appreciate the preservation of the historic.
Even if they do, it's more difficult for them to do it.
Right, you know, so then that makes your job more, and then the next thing you know, the community starts to depreciate, to go down, because like you said, people can't afford.
We are, the laws that we work under are fairly stringent, yeah. And we can't even, as a commission, can't even give an opinion about it.
Right.
We can only deal with applications.
Right, that's presented.
Which is presented, we can do for the grants. And the demo delay, if they wanted to tear that building down, they'd have to deal with it.
Right.
And I'd say, okay, just a joke there.
Yeah.
But, other than that, we really, this is, I mean, we're kind of, you know, it's not too late tonight, but.
Yeah, but
It's something that under certain circumstances, we would have to just say, because we had a longer agenda, we would have had to say, we can't do talk about it. Because we can't, as a legal entity, which we are. We can't say yes, good, no, bad, or whatever about that. We hope that when we put people together to talk to the right people, and I am disappointed that the Ignite didn't hear about it. Because it might have ended up the same, but if you had heard all about it, at least you could have open meeting and transparency. Right. But I apologize because there was nothing.
No.
We could do it, and sometimes we get while we're sitting here, we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, we should.
But, you know, directing you who you might talk to is not an opinion, so.
Right.
That's the best we have.
Okay,
Thank you.
So, any other items?
I appreciate it.
Okay, hearing none, I entertain a motion to.
Yes.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you, Attorney Shay.